Hello, my name is Ștefania, and today we're talking about physical therapy. For those of you that are from different fields, physical therapy is part of the healthcare system, and it helps in the prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation of patients that have pain or have had traumatic injuries, such as a broken bone or a broken spine that resulted in paralysis, which is really bad, or diseases such as neuromuscular diseases or musculoskeletal diseases. Next year, currently I am a student in physical therapy, and next year I will become a physical therapist, and I will start working with patients in my own practice. So I would like to open my own office. But money is quite short. And me and my students fellow students have always talked about, is communicating with the patient enough to compensate for the fact that we do not have money to have a high-tech or a very good-looking office? Or is it? So we're gonna do a quick background check here. How many of you have gone to physical therapy? Please raise your hand. Okay, we have one answer. And how many of you have gone to physical therapy as a parent of the patient? So a child, your child, has undergone physical therapy and you've gone with him to the office. So none of you. It's a very different story. Why? Because as a physical therapist, when you're communicating with an adult, they can tell you when it hurts, they can tell you what they expect from you, they can tell you what they need from you. With children, it's more complicated than that because you always have a parent looking over your shoulder what you're doing to their child. And it's really important to understand, what is that parent thinking? Is he satisfied with you, even when he sees that some of the practices you're doing to their child might be painful? So the objective of my study was to evaluate the parental satisfaction of pediatric physical therapy services in Romania. I did this by using a cross-sectional transversal study and using the MedRisk instrument for measuring patient satisfaction with physical therapy care. This is the MedRisk instrument. It has two parts. The first part, it assesses the age, gender, general area of treatment, and the completion of the treatment. And the second one is the more important one, the one that tries to assess the satisfaction. Now, here's a funny story. I tried to get the permission to use this instrument because it was validated and it has been in the works since 2005 and it has been used to the present. And I tried to contact the original authors of the paper. I got no answer. Then I went a bit crazy and I contacted every person that has ever used the instrument ever. That resulted in 47 emails from my part to a lot of science people. And in the end, after 2 months, I started getting responses, and I got 21 emails that all of them said, "Sure, Ștefania, I will forward this to Dr. Phil McClure." So after 3 long months of waiting, I got a response, and Dr. Phil McClure had received my email and another 21 forwarding of my emails. So we have the permission to use the instrument. What did I do with this instrument? Well, I adapted it because I wanted to evaluate the parent perspective. So I made it from a parent proxy and in the Romanian language. My target group was a convenience sample, and that resulted in 24 parents in the present, but I'm still collecting data through an online survey. The results, the parents of 11 male and 11 female children, 11 of which, so the majority, were pre-adolescents between 12 and 18 years old. 19 have completed the physical therapy treatment, 3 are still in treatment, and 2 did not complete the treatment. And now on to the interesting part. So as you can see here, the survey works on a Likert scale. So 1 meaning totally disagree, 5 meaning totally agree. And we've had a couple of external factors and internal factors. What are external factors? They are the 3 questions that are underlined, and they are regarding the reception, the registration process, and the waiting area. So factors that are external to the therapeutical environment. And then we have the internal factors, which are the patient and therapist interactions and the therapist and parent interactions. So these are the direct interactions between the therapist and the child. And what was really interesting is that I had quite a high mean in the external factors and the internal factors, with a 4.6 and 4.7 average satisfaction from the parents. So the parents, from my convenient sample, seem to be quite satisfied with this practice. But I had another question, because the last two questions of the survey, one assessed the overall perceived satisfaction of the parents, and the next one assessed the willingness of the parents to return to the physical therapy office. And I had a question: how did this correlate with the external and the internal factors? And I got something really interesting. As expected, so this is the table with the external factors. So we're talking about reception, waiting area, registration process, and this is the internal factors. As expected, there was a positive correlation, a suggestion of a positive correlation between the external factors and the internal factors. Not much of a difference there. But what was really interesting, there was a strong positive correlation between the external factors and the willingness to return. So, does that mean that communication is not enough? That might be the case. And I asked myself, why is that so? It kind of makes sense though, because the parents are the ones that have to wait in the waiting rooms. The parents are the ones that have to make the registration process, and they have to interact with the receptionist. And even though we have a correlation, a positive correlation between the willingness to return and the internal factors as well, there is a strong positive correlation between the external factors and the rest. Overall, parents seem to be satisfied, but as I've said, I'm still collecting data, and I see as there is promise for this instrument to work as a parent proxy. Thank you.
Felicitări! Foarte interesant studiu și, într-adevăr, eu sunt părinte, dar nu mi-aș prea dori să ajung în o astfel de situație, dar nu se știe niciodată, asta este, dar contează foarte mult astfel de studii care să, până la urmă, să țină cont și de partea emoțională așteptată în sala de așteptare, a sta în sala de așteptare. Interesant și mult succes mai departe. Nu știu, colega mea, dacă dorește să...
Mulțumesc mult!
Mult succes!